guys and the gals, blue noses, football fans. What a week. What a week. Excuse me for looking a bit of a mess, but I promised I won't shave till Blues win again in the league. It's nothing to do with superstition. One, it's too cold, and B, I can't afford the razor blade. I won't bore you with the details of how it took me 7 hours to get from the south coast to Birmingham, and I only just made it. Walked in at 10 to 3, and by the time I'd finished with Bovril, we were 2-0 down. 2-0 down from the most appalling defensive display I've ever seen. People who, let's be honest, we've become to admire and rely on. Poor Matt Colan. What was he doing, heading that ball straight back to the winger? What was he doing? And they managed to have 3 or 4 passes in the space of 5 yards before freeing up the easiest of chances with the three defenders, our 3 giant defenders, standing and watching. Goal 2, 3 giant defenders, giant goalkeeper, some little Shorthouse wins the ball on the near post and heads home, totally unmarked. Now, we can talk about conditions, the state of the club, the board, the fans' protests, anything you want to do, we can make excuses, but there is none for that. You're a professional footballer, professional defender. You do not do that. It's a sin. Now, there were protests. Fine, got no problem with that. But the whole purpose of the protest is to enlighten the media and the public that Birmingham City fans have a gripe. But unfortunately, we have 2 lunatics who run on the pitch and stop the game. Now, not only is that dangerous from a public safety point of view, and we'll talk about that later, but it's dangerous inasmuch that this club, Birmingham City FC, have had more fines and kicks up the backside for idiots like that over the last 60 odd years. I remember the great cup tie in 1960 where we were 3-0 down against the double winning Spurs. We got back to 3-3, and every goal that we scored, there was a pitch invasion, and we got reported. That was 1960. Kenneth Wolstenholme, the then commentator, remarked upon it. And what happened? Well, we had a winning goal disallowed. And what happened? The nutters come on again. Now, those people who did that, most are probably dead by now. Most of them are probably dead. Now, they've got to be at least 70, 80, or even 90 years old. So it's nothing new. But the problem is the same. When you do those sort of things, the whole reason for doing that gets deflected and bad behaviour becomes the issue. Now, I just shake my head to see those 2 idiots right in front of me diving into the disabled, trying to get away from the stewards. And it's debatable whether the people they dived into were trying to capture them or protect them. What is not beyond doubt is that some of their antics frightened, injured, disabled people who just come. It's their one pleasure in life, and they get some lunatic going headlong into a group of them, frightening them to death, injuring some. And I believe there was also a small child that was at least extremely distressed. Now, people will say to me, what's somebody doing taking a 6-year-old to a football match? Oh, they're mad. And at first I thought, yeah, that's true. But why on earth, in a civilized society, shouldn't anybody, whether they're 6 or 60, whether they're disabled or built like a giant, not be able to go to a football match because it's not safe? Ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. The other thing that's happened this week, we've had another offer now to take over parts of the club. Now, on the face of it, it's better than nothing. Uh, what disturbs me is the mass cynicism that this is greeted by. Yeah, it may well be an attempt to stop more protests taking place. So, isn't that a good thing? The protest that was noticed by the board has been recognised, and at least they're saying they're doing something about it. That's good news. But sadly, this club has got into a state of mega cynicism that we don't believe anything. We live in a country where we can't believe anything. There's always an ultimatum, an alternative motive for things. Uh, we've just had great news down here on the south coast in Bexhill. We've had £19 million allocated to us in this levelling up. Now, the only problem is it's been earmarked for things that we don't need. So there's a great cynicism. What have they done that for? And I don't blame them. And our football club is becoming like that. Well, okay, somebody comes along. First of all, the transfer deadline ends in 5 days' time. They better get their fingers out, because if anybody's going to put money into the club, it's going to be spent sharply. If somebody is going to put money into the club, what are they going to do? What form is it going to take? The communication, on the face of it, looks fine. The mysterious owners have put on a tweet, and great. Wonderful. Everything's going to go right again. But it's met with an awful lot of distrust. Now, of all the things that are creeping through a former big, great club, is distrust. Now, why have our injured players been out so long? Well, because they're injured. Or have they been? Why does suddenly somebody not get picked for 6 months, comes in, has 3 good games, and then is injured again? Why does somebody else who has been brought in on loan and is part of a settled defence suddenly replaced by another loanee, and we can't play both of them because we got too many? Now, why wasn't the new guy brought in, and that position rectified? So one of our other 5 loanees was made permanent, even if it was only made permanent to the end of the season. that situation could have been got round, and we could have played all 6 of those players on Saturday, but we could only play 5. And where were we weakest? In those positions. We got slaughtered down there. Anyway, cup tie Saturday, Blackburn Rovers. Great place to go. I've got some dear friends in Blackburn. It is cold. It is dark. It is miserable. And when we get there, 1959 till sometime in the 2010s was the gap that we had before we won a game at Blackburn. That's only 60 years. So, not the favourite place, but, you know, Watto has almost a instinct about these things. I think we're due. I think in our current state, we're better away from home, which we are. There is less pressure. Won't be any pitch invasions. There won't be any signs put up, and everybody can concentrate on what they're doing. And you never know, we might have 1 or 2 more people available to play. Come on, Blues. Sort this out. Sort it out. God bless you all. Here's to Monday's 5th round draw.